Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queens of Leisure. On today's video, this is a segment for the podcast, Talk to Me Leisure. And we have our first guest interview here today, Nisey. We're so excited to have her here, and she's one of my favorites, and I'm sure she's going to be your favorite too once you hear what she has to say in today's video. So, I can't believe we're both wearing red today, and I love the color red. It's just so vibrant and so sexual, and well, it's not sexual, but sensual is what I mean. It's just this color that, like, when you wear it, people are gonna notice you no matter what. So, did you decide to wear red, or you were like peeking to see what I was wearing in my closet earlier?
No, honestly, I just think it's pure coincidence. And definitely, I feel like I had the same mind frame. I was just like, red is like a powerhouse couple, not couple per se, but color. So I figured,
Yes.
let me come on, and it looks good against our melanin skin. So, I definitely decided to wear red today. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on this platform. I just have a few questions for today. We're gonna have fun. Just it's gonna be laid back. Of course, we're gonna be talking about work, your experience in the workplace, and the first question I have for you is, how have your relationship with work been?
Okay. Honestly, I think a few of us are tapping into the soft life era now.
Yes.
Um, since the pandemic, a lot of us have learned to value work-life balance and taking time out to value yourself and to build on your relationships around you and stuff like that. But to be quite honest with you, I was never a fan of work. I made a video on my channel,
Okay.
Hate to Talk, where I talked about basically I'm not lazy. I just want a soft life. I've never really enjoyed working since I was a kid. To be quite honest with you, it was never my thing. I do it because we have to do it and we have bills to pay, basically.
Okay. All right. What what has been your longest job?
Um,
Looking back.
Looking back, my longest job, I think I've done a bunch of different jobs. I've worked as a cashier. I worked as a in the healthcare area. I've worked as a receptionist. I think I've kind of did a little bit of all, like a sprinkle of all of them. Kind of just, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I would say like in our 20s is the year, the phase, is it a phase, an era that we try to figure out what we like the most. So I think it's expected to jump from job to job. Rarely you'll talk to someone who said, well, in my 20s, I still have the same job that I have in my 30s. So we're
Mhm.
trying to jump from different jobs just to find out what we like. I would say for me, my longest job has been working for this startup. I also talked about my experience working for a startup company in my channel, Queens of Leisure.
Mhm.
Go check it out. And the workplace is not for everyone. I can understand you not really liking it. I didn't really like it
Mhm.
either. Work is from the devil. It's the devil's work. I'll just leave it as that.
No, I do, and no, I do understand what you're saying. I know a lot of people might be like, "Well, how are you supposed to survive?" Even the Bible says that you have to work in order to eat and all that stuff. But
Say
I
that.
understand what you're saying. I think a lot of us are creatives,
Mhm.
and we want to do things that don't feel like work necessarily. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like your movement, Queens of Leisure. And I really been looking around at your page, and I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I think it's very important to have this conversation about that. You know, rest is our birthright. That is what
Yes.
God created us to do. We're supposed to rest, and constantly working hard and not taking care of ourselves and abusing ourselves. There are long life consequences. And a lot of them that I'm dealing with right now. And yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
so
Would you like to
grateful for
share
your
more?
movement.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, now you're confirming that this platform was created not just to be created for just any random thing, that it has purpose. And we're going to touch and reach so many people who maybe didn't grow up with that whole concept that it's okay to take time off for yourself. It's okay to rest. And they're going to understand that it's okay, like I said, to
Right,
rest and to live your best life because you only have one.
right. Just one. And you better do it right. And if you do it right, that's all you need. Just one. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. I'd like for you to expound more. I did say the word correctly. Expound. Expound more a little on how your experience have been, the consequences that you mentioned earlier of work. What has it taken a toll on you physically, emotionally, mentally? We'd like to hear it because I think we all can learn from your experience.
Definitely, I'll be more than happy to share. To be quite honest with you, I kind of like job hopped a lot in my 20s. I'm in my early 30s, just working a bunch of different jobs and also going to school. And I just didn't understand. I would work sometimes 7 days, I mean, 6 days a week with 1 day off, 12-hour shifts. And of course, most of my jobs, I was sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, I've gained a lot of weight. I have exhausted my body to the point that I remember a couple years ago, I kind of almost went into like a panic mode, my body, because I just couldn't do it anymore. Just constantly working at night, picking up random shifts, working in multiple jobs. And honestly, it's just, I've been trying to recover from a burnout for the past couple of years, and I'm still not 100% recovered. So working is important. Of course, you need to provide for yourself, but working yourself to exhaustion is very, very dangerous. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, honestly.
I can totally relate. You're right. As creatives, we're in this era where we're doing different things to bring money. It doesn't have to look the same like our great grandfather's generation, or even our fathers or parents' generation or mom's generation. This generation is different. We are living in the generation that the best time ever, because technology has advanced. There's different ways to make money, to generate and supplement your income. We have the YouTube channel. We have podcasts. We have so many things that we can do. And you're right. I don't believe that the body was created for it to stay still. We were created to be constantly on the go. Because when you look at nature, for example, the river, when it stops running, what happens? It starts to stink, right? So the same thing applies for us too. If we stop moving, we stop growing, the same thing's going to happen to us. We're going to slowly deteriorate, or maybe fastly deteriorate for some of us, because some of us, our tolerance, stress, and everything that comes with work is different. So I totally agree with you. And as a creative, I'm finding different ways as well to supplement my income. And I congratulate you for being one of those trendsetters to set the new trend of how things can be. And it's not easy though, because it could be very scary to take that path, the path that is not taken, the less, what's the saying?
Less chosen path or something along those lines. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. And you're totally right. We're living in a technology era where anything and everything, and there's so many opportunities for you to make money. You don't have to stick to your standard, 9 to 5. And I'm not talking down on anyone that works 9 to 5, because everyone's different. Some people enjoy that structure, waking up at 9 to 5 and with their 2 days off. But other people, we're not called for that. And it all depends on your calling, and you have to obey your calling. But I'm just saying, I don't want anyone to watch this video and think we're bashing working and we hate working. We're just saying, try to have some kind of work-life balance. Try to add a little bit of leisure into your life. And leisure can look different for many other people, as I see that you discussed in your channel before. So just squeezing a little leisure into your life, I think really, really helps.
Definitely. Now, speaking of work balance, what would you say, how would you describe an ideal work balance? Like, how does that look like for you, you would say?
I mean, for me, honestly, what I would say, in a perfect world, 3 days of working. Because what I've learned about myself is that, not that I hate work, I hate working a lot. So I don't mind working 3 days, or I don't mind like working all the time if I start a business, if I have a business that I need to run. My thing is, I need to be engaged. I need to enjoy what I do at least. If we can't love what we do, we should at least enjoy it, or we can enough to tolerate it, if that makes sense.
Agree.
Yeah. So 3 days, a good 3 days. 3 days working, and I'm not really into the 5 days. I'm not really into the hustle culture.
Mhm.
Uh, Boss babe, it's not my thing
Uh,
anymore, at least.
I am. You might have watched the recent video. I talked about my experience as a boss babe at what cost. Yeah, in my
Mhm.
20s, it was something that was appealing to be a boss babe, just doing your thing. But as we get older, we tend to see things differently. And on that note, I wanted to ask, what would you say to your younger self, your 20-something-year-old self, who was all about the boss babe and making a name and all that stuff? What would you say to her now if you had the chance to
You
talk
know,
to
that's a good question. I've never ever really sat down and thought of that. Sometimes we tend to shut down certain parts of ourselves. We're like, oh, I'm no longer 22, so it doesn't matter. I'm not going back there. I'm not thinking about that. I would just tell myself be, to make, I don't even know what I would say. That's a good question. Never even thought about that. Um, Definitely to maybe work smarter and not harder,
Mhm.
meaning
Good.
finding out what is it that I want to do at an early age and pouring into that instead of just jumping around, doing this and doing that. And then when you jump around and have a bunch of stuff going, nothing's finished. You just have, you
Right.
know, a bunch of different projects that are undone. So
Right.
definitely work smarter and use, because I'm an extrovert, at least I used to be an extrovert, just use my God-given talents to get to where I need to get, meaning connecting with people and pouring into others and things of that nature. Because I spent most of my 20s working,
Mm.
just working, working, working. That's pretty much it.
And it's understandable too, because it's in our 20s that you're supposed to put in the hard work. We're told at least. And then we reap the benefits in our 30s, hopefully, and
Mhm.
forward to like our 40s and 50s and up. So it makes sense for us to like, we think that it's necessary for us to work hard, push our bodies because we're going to gain the benefits. But that's not always the truth. That's not always the facts.
Mhm.
They lied to us about the whole American dream. That's a fraud. We'll save that for another video.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, for those who are going to the workforce, since COVID is not really a thing, I hope it's still not a thing because God knows we can't handle a part two. I
We
can't
can't.
handle part two. Oh God, yes. Um, since the workplace is being open for young adults to go in and start working, what would you say to anyone, whether young or old, who are starting a new position? What work advice would you give to anyone starting work?
Don't go in. I'm just kidding. No, definitely making sure that you're number one. You're the number one priority. Yes, it's important to go to work and do a good job and be the best version of yourself that you have to be on the job. But please understand that if you die tomorrow, you will be replaced. Please understand if something happened to you, your job later on that day will be up on Indeed.com looking for a new candidate. So making sure that your mental health and your physical, it's very important because especially when you're at work, have like some kind of balance, have some kind of work-life balance. When you're at work, you're at work. When you're home, you're home. That's pretty much it. Just have balance in your life.
I agree because we go into these jobs thinking that they're like everything. Basically, we don't set boundaries. We make it seem like we're robots. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to do that just because our supervisor says so. They're human beings just like you. Like we look up to them as if they're like, oh my God, they're gods. They're not. They're
Right.
business owner, just like you. If you have a business, they're just like you. So it's okay to set boundaries and to put yourself and your mental health first, like you mentioned earlier, because it's so important. Once your mind is gone,
Sadly.
that's it. And it's so sad.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to allow something so tragic to happen to then realize this. And by then it's just too late to get all
Right.
that years back, your youth and your vitality. It's just too late, sad to say. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us that we haven't covered yet in this interview? I think I've covered all the questions that I would want to ask.
Mhm.
Except for one actually, since we were talking about us closing certain parts of ourselves because we're thinking it doesn't matter because it was in the past. I do have one question. I want to know, like, what is it that brings you joy? That makes you that excites you when it comes to like in the lane of like leisure time and stuff like that. How do you spend your leisure time? Like, how do you leisure? What
Great
do you
question. How
enjoy
do
doing?
I leisure? Great question. How do I leisure? I definitely like getting out. There's a park close to my home. I like to go to like the park
Park.
and do maybe 3 to 5 miles a
Oh,
day,
that's
depending.
good.
Like I'm only off 2 days a week, you know. So when I'm off, whatever, I would go to the park and go for a nice nature walk and just sit under a tree. I like to read. And following your channel and also your content, I guess in the beginning I had this mind frame that leisure, when people hear the word leisure, they're thinking that you're at Hermes or you're spending a bunch of money, you're on a yacht with a thong
Right.
and with a glass of champagne in your hand. And that's fine. If that's how you leisure, that is fine. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
And just watching your content really taught me that um, leisuring looks different for a lot of people. And how I leisure is just going out, going for walks, enjoying a day at the park, reading, just enjoying, just writing. I'm not a big writer, but sometimes I tend to write things down to like I brain dump on paper, just
Mhm.
different stuff like that. Talking to my friends, hanging out, going for sushi, like little things in life brings me joy. And when I have the opportunity to do that, it certainly makes me very happy and it makes my heart smile.
Aw, I love that. I have a keychain that says enjoy the little things in life. And you saying that
Mhm.
totally brought it home for me. It's the little things, honestly. Thank you. You don't have to be on a yacht somewhere. I mean, you can if you can afford
Right.
drinking your champagne and living it up with your friends or with your boo or whoever. If that's the lifestyle you can live, then why not? We love it. But let's not forget the little things because they mean so much and they can really hit home, like watching a beautiful sunset,
Right.
just a walk on the beach, which I'm about to do when I go to Florida. Okay. So I'll be posting
Love
pictures.
Florida. Gotta love
Yes,
Florida.
like the
No, no,
simple
you're
things.
right.
Simple things
You're
in
right.
life are the ones that truly matters. So we tend to forget that. And thank you because this channel is not, I'm not promoting luxury, although time is luxury because you can't, if you don't have the money, even if you do have the money, there are certain situations where you can't pay for that. Like you
Mhm.
can't pay for health, for great health and all that good stuff. But if you have the money, I say do it. Live the leisure life, all fancy and expensive. But if not, then just enjoy your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, like I'm doing right now, and I'm talking to
Mhm.
you, and I'm in my
Trust the process. I love your
yeah.
cup. Trust the
Oh
process.
yes.
Definitely. No, you're
Um,
right. And I think what a lot of people fail to realize that adding leisure into your life is also good for your mental health, especially for someone that comes from the background of working all the time to the point that I'm exhausted. I noticed that when I didn't take the opportunity to make my mental health a priority, I struggled. And I'm noticing the shift in my mind this week because I'm on a few days vacation where I woke up this morning, I got to the park, I did 5 miles and I walked around, I got to soak the sun and feel the sun on my skin. And I noticed sometimes we're not really depressed. I'm not saying I'm not, sometimes we're not depressed. Sometimes we need to get out in nature and,
right.
just get the sunlight and feel the warm breeze on your face. You need to experience that. That's very important. And a lot of people, we tend to neglect our mental health, and that's very dangerous. Honestly, it
No,
is.
thank you for mentioning that because in our Black community, it's not a topic we address. Mental illness isn't something we really talk much about. We're now starting to embrace it, to talk much about it because it's a thing. Like your mental health, it's so I can't. I don't even. I have no words to express because this up here it governs everything. If it's not working, of course, nothing else is going to be aligned. You're not going to understand your purpose. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be able to give your best to your loved ones. You're basically going to fall apart. And I
Yeah.
can understand how we spend $500 on a pair of shoes or a pair of jewelry or clothing, but yet you don't see it's important to invest in a therapist. I don't understand it. Yeah, we have things so backwards. But yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I have to address your skin and you glowing, because you are not going to leave this channel without me asking you, how is it that you're looking this amazing? Your skin is literally, it's like you're being kissed by the sun. You're glowing.
Thank you so much. Leisure, darling, leisure. Definitely water, honestly. Just I've been trying to drink a lot of water and just changing my mind frame. Like I watch, like I said, I watch a lot of your content and I try to incorporate the tips that you do share. Just trying to get out of nature, drinking water. I've been eating mostly a raw diet lately, just kind of like, I am on a weight loss journey, which I've been for the past couple of years, but it's taken time, like I said, from the weight that I gained from working hard and doing all
Right.
these things. So I have to be kind to my body and allow it. If it's going to take 3 years to release the weight, then 3 years it is. What am I going to do about it? So
Right.
definitely trying to take time and out of my day to incorporate a little leisure. A little leisure is the secret. That's all I have to say.
I love it. Love it. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you. So tell us, where can we find you on your platform?
Thank you so much. You guys can definitely check me out at Paid to Talk on YouTube. Paid and the number 2 to talk. And also you guys can check out my business page at Soltero Travel on IG, Soltero, SOLTERO Travel on Instagram. You guys can head over there and see what I do. It was certainly a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being on this channel, and thank you all for listening. And until next time, we'll catch you in another podcast video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.